In the vast expanse of the Martian desert, Dr. Elena Reyes stood motionless, her eyes fixed on the object before her. The harsh wind whipped red dust around her environmental suit, but she barely noticed. Her attention was wholly consumed by the glinting metallic surface partially buried in the rust-colored soil. "Control, are you seeing this?" Elena's voice crackled over the comm system, a mix of excitement and disbelief evident in her tone. "Affirmative, Dr. Reyes," came the reply from Mission Control back on Earth. "We're recording all data. Can you provide a preliminary analysis?" Elena took a deep breath, trying to calm her racing heart. She had dreamed of this moment since she was a child, gazing up at the red planet through her first telescope. Now, standing on its surface, she was about to make history. "It's definitely not natural," she began, her scientific training kicking in. "The object appears to be made of an unknown metallic alloy. Its surface is smooth, almost mirror-like, with no signs of erosion despite potentially being exposed to the Martian environment for, well, who knows how long." She paused, considering her next words carefully. "Based on its partially buried state and the surrounding geological features, I'd estimate it's been here for at least several million years, possibly much longer." The implications of her statement hung in the air. If she was right, this wasn't just the discovery of the century, it was proof that Earth wasn't the only cradle of intelligence in the universe. "Dr. Reyes, can you attempt to uncover more of the object?" Control's voice betrayed a hint of tension, the gravity of the situation sinking in. Elena nodded, though she knew they couldn't see her. "Affirmative. I'm going to start clearing away the surrounding soil." With painstaking care, she began to brush away the Martian dust. As more of the object was revealed, her excitement grew. It was roughly cylindrical, about the size of a small car. Strange symbols were etched into its surface, unlike any language she had ever seen. Hours passed as Elena and her team worked tirelessly to excavate the artifact. As the Martian sun began to set, casting long shadows across the barren landscape, they finally managed to unearth the entire object. It's incredible," Elena breathed, her voice filled with awe. "There appears to be some kind of interface panel on one end. It's giving off a faint energy signature, unlike anything in our database." Back on Earth, the news of the discovery spread like wildfire. Within days, the entire planet was abuzz with speculation and excitement. Governments convened emergency meetings, religious leaders offered their interpretations, and scientists around the world clamored for access to the data. As weeks turned into months, the brightest minds on Earth worked tirelessly to unlock the secrets of the Martian artifact. Progress was slow, the alien technology proving to be far beyond current human understanding. But bit by bit, they began to make breakthroughs. The first came when Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a brilliant physicist from Tokyo, managed to decipher part of the alien language. Her breakthrough led to a cascade of new understanding, as linguists and cryptographers around the world built upon her work. Then, on a warm summer night nearly a year after the initial discovery, everything changed. Dr. Elena Reyes, who had returned to Earth to lead the research team, was working late in the lab. As she input a new sequence into the artifact's interface, based on their latest linguistic breakthrough, the object suddenly hummed to life. A holographic display burst forth, filling the lab with swirling patterns of light. Elena watched in stunned silence as images of distant stars and galaxies danced before her eyes. It was a map, she realized, a map of the universe, far more detailed and extensive than anything humans had ever created. But it was more than just a map. As Elena and her team delved deeper into the artifact's database, they discovered blueprints for technologies beyond their wildest dreams. Faster-than-light travel, energy sources that could power entire planets, and materials that defied the laws of physics as they understood them. The artifact wasn't just a relic of some long-lost alien civilization. It was a gift, a key to the stars themselves. As news of the breakthrough spread, humanity entered a new era. The petty conflicts and divisions that had plagued Earth for so long began to fade in the face of this cosmic legacy. For the first time in history, the entire human race was united in a common purpose: to claim their place among the stars. Governments and private corporations poured resources into a new space program, fueled by the knowledge gleaned from the artifact. Within a decade, the first faster-than-light ship was constructed in orbit around Earth. Named the Prometheus, it represented humanity's boldest step into the unknown. Dr. Elena Reyes, now approaching her 50th birthday, stood on the bridge of the Prometheus, gazing out at the star-studded blackness of space. As the ship's engines hummed to life, preparing for its maiden voyage, she felt a sense of destiny fulfilled. Dr. Reyes, the ship's AI intoned, "All systems a go. We await your command." Elena took a deep breath, thinking back to that fateful day on Mars. From a simple discovery in the red dust to the threshold of interstellar travel, it had been an incredible journey, but she knew that it was only the beginning. "Initiate faster-than-light drive," she commanded, her voice steady and clear. "Let's see what's out there." As the Prometheus leaped into the unknown, leaving the familiar confines of the solar system behind, humanity embarked on its greatest adventure yet. The stars, once distant and unreachable, were now within their grasp, and with them came the promise of new discoveries, new challenges, and perhaps even new friends among the cosmos. The age of Earth was over. The age of humanity as a spacefaring civilization had begun. The success of the Prometheus's maiden voyage marked the beginning of a new era for humanity. Within a matter of years, the solar system became humanity's playground. Mars, once a distant red dot in the night sky, was now a bustling colony, its terraforming process already underway thanks to the advanced technology gleaned from the alien artifact. Dr. Elena Reyes, now in her 60s but still sharp as ever, stood on the observation deck of Ganymede Station, watching as another massive colony ship departed for the outer reaches of the solar system. The sight never failed to fill her with a sense of wonder and pride. "Quite a view, isn't it?" A voice came from behind her. Elena turned to see Admiral Zhang Wei, the head of the United Earth Space Force, approaching with a smile. "It never gets old," Elena replied, returning the smile. "Sometimes I still can't believe how far we've come in just 15 years. Admiral Zhang nodded, his eyes following the departing ship. "And yet, we've only scratched the surface. The galaxy is vast, and we've barely begun to explore it." Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden alert from Elena's comm device. "Dr. Reyes," the AI assistant's voice chimed. "We're receiving an urgent transmission from the Kuiper Belt outpost. They're reporting an anomaly in the fabric of space-time." Elena and Admiral Zhang exchanged a glance. "Patch it through," Elena commanded. A holographic display materialized before them, showing a young scientist with an excited expression. "Dr. Reyes, Admiral Zhang, you're not going to believe this," he began, his words tumbling out in a rush. "We've detected what appears to be a stable wormhole forming just beyond the edge of the Kuiper Belt. It's unlike anything we've ever seen before." The news sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Within hours, a research fleet was dispatched to investigate the phenomenon. Elena, despite her age, insisted on joining the mission. As the lead scientist on the Alien Artifact project, she felt a responsibility to see this through. As their ship approached the coordinates of the anomaly, the crew fell silent in awe. Before them stretched a swirling vortex of energy, its heart a deep, mesmerizing blue. Instruments confirmed what their eyes could scarcely believe. It was indeed a stable wormhole, large enough for a ship to pass through. "It's artificial," Elena breathed, studying the data streaming across her console. "The energy signature, it's similar to the Martian artifact. This wormhole was created by the same alien civilization." The implications were staggering. Not only had they discovered a means of potentially traveling vast distances across the galaxy instantly, but they had also found evidence that the creators of the Martian artifact were still out there somewhere. After weeks of careful study and preparation, the decision was made to send a probe through the wormhole. The tension on the bridge was palpable as they watched the small device disappear into the swirling energy field. For several agonizing minutes, there was nothing but silence. Then suddenly, a flood of data began pouring in. The probe had emerged in another part of the galaxy, thousands of light years from Earth. And there, orbiting a distant star, was a planet that bore unmistakable signs of advanced civilization. The discovery galvanized humanity like nothing before. The promise of contact with an advanced alien species, the creators of the technology that had catapulted humanity to the stars, was too tantalizing to ignore. Plans were immediately set in motion for a manned mission through the wormhole. As preparations for the mission progressed, humanity continued to expand its reach across the solar system. The moons of Jupiter and Saturn were colonized, their vast resources fueling further growth and technological advancement. Massive space stations were constructed, serving as waypoints for the ever-growing fleet of interplanetary ships. But not all was smooth sailing. The rapid expansion and the promise of alien contact brought new challenges and conflicts. Some feared that humanity was moving too fast, that they weren't ready for the responsibilities that came with their newfound power. Others saw the alien civilization as a potential threat, arguing for a more militaristic approach to space exploration. These tensions came to a head on the day of the wormhole mission launch. As the specially designed ship, christened the Odyssey, prepared to depart, a group of extremists attempted to sabotage the mission. They believed that crossing the wormhole would bring doom upon humanity, but some things were better left undiscovered. The attack was thwarted thanks to the quick thinking of the ship's crew and the intervention of Admiral Zhang's security forces, but it served as a stark reminder of the challenges that lay ahead. Humanity's journey to the stars would not be without its perils, both external and internal. As the Odyssey finally entered the wormhole, leaving the familiar confines of the solar system behind, Elena Reyes watched from the command center on Earth. Despite the recent troubles, she felt a sense of hope and excitement for what lay ahead. "Good luck and Godspeed," she whispered, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the ship's progress. The journey through the wormhole was brief but intense. The crew of the Odyssey reported experiencing a kaleidoscope of sensations as they traversed the fabric of space-time. When they emerged on the other side, they found themselves in orbit around the alien planet they had detected earlier. Initial scans revealed a world teeming with life and technology far beyond human understanding. Massive cities sprawled across the planet's surface, their architecture unlike anything seen on Earth. Energy readings suggested power sources of unimaginable potency. But as the Odyssey attempted to establish contact, they were met with an ominous silence. The cities, for all their grandeur, appeared to be empty. There were no signs of current inhabitants, no response to their hails. As the crew of the Odyssey grappled with this mystery, back in the solar system, humanity's expansion continued unabated. New colonies were established, resources were harvested from asteroids and comets, and plans were drawn up for the first extrasolar colonies. Yet even as humanity reached for the stars, questions lingered. What had happened to the advanced civilization that had left behind the Martian artifact and the wormhole? Were they still out there, watching humanity's progress? And if so, what do they think of their cosmic proteges? As Elena Reyes pondered these questions, staring out at the bustling activity around Ganymede Station, she couldn't shake the feeling that humanity was on the brink of something momentous. The expansion across the solar system was just the beginning. The true test of humanity's resolve and ingenuity lay in the vast, unexplored reaches of the galaxy beyond. With a mixture of anticipation and trepidation, Elena realized that the next chapter of humanity's cosmic adventure was about to unfold, and whatever challenges lay ahead, she was certain of one thing: the human spirit, with its insatiable curiosity and indomitable will, would rise to meet them. The mystery of the abandoned alien world haunted humanity for years. Expeditions through the wormhole continued, each one hoping to unravel the enigma of the vanished civilization. But as humans explored further into the galaxy, they began to realize that the universe held more surprises, and dangers than they had ever imagined. It was on a routine survey mission to a system near the galactic core that humanity finally made first contact with an alien species. But it wasn't the enlightened, benevolent encounter they had hoped for. Captain Zara Chen of the UES Horizon was leading her crew through a detailed scan of a promising exoplanet when the ship's sensors suddenly blared to life. Multiple unknown vessels approaching at high speed, her tactical officer reported, voice tense with alarm. Before Captain Chen could even process the information, a barrage of energy weapons fire slammed into the Horizon's shields. The ship rocked violently, throwing crew members to the floor. "Return fire," Chen ordered, her training kicking in despite the shock of the situation, "and get us out of here." As the Horizon desperately maneuvered to escape, they caught glimpses of their attackers through the view screens. The alien ships were sleek, almost organic in design, their hulls shimmering with an otherworldly iridescence. They moved with a grace that belied their aggression, effortlessly outmaneuvering the human vessel. It was only through a combination of skill, luck, and the advanced technology derived from the Martian artifact that the Horizon managed to escape, limping back through the wormhole with critical damage. The news of the attack sent shockwaves through human space. For the first time since venturing beyond their solar system, humanity faced a threat they couldn't understand or reason with. The aliens, dubbed the Novarians, after the star system where they were encountered, seemed intent on driving humans out of the galaxy. As more encounters occurred, a grim picture began to emerge. The Novarians were a highly advanced militaristic species that viewed humanity's rapid expansion as a threat to their dominion. They possessed technology that rivaled and in some cases surpassed what humans had gleaned from the Martian artifact. Dr. Elena Reyes, now in her 70s but still sharp as ever, was called out of retirement to help address the crisis. As she pored over the data from the encounters, a troubling theory the Novarians, she explained to a tense meeting of Earth's leaders, seemed to be using technology very similar to what we found in the Martian artifact. It's possible that they are the descendants of the civilization that created it. The implications were staggering. Had humanity inadvertently awakened a sleeping giant? Had their rapid progress, fueled by the very technology left behind by this ancient race, drawn the attention of their creators' inheritors? As the conflict escalated, humanity found itself fighting a war on two fronts. In space, their fleets clashed with Novarian forces in increasingly fierce battles. On the ground, they raced to unlock more secrets from the Martian artifact and other ruins they had discovered, hoping to find some advantage against their technologically superior foe. The war brought out both the best and worst in humanity. Acts of incredible heroism and sacrifice became commonplace, as did incidents of panic and xenophobia. Some called for a retreat back to the solar system, arguing that humanity had overreached. Others pushed for even more aggressive expansion, believing that only by pressing forward could they hope to survive. In the midst of this chaos, a discovery was made that would change the course of the war. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the linguist who had first deciphered part of the alien language years ago, managed to translate a series of glyphs found in a newly discovered ruins. The message they revealed was both heartening and terrifying. Beware the Novarians, for they are not what they seem. The key to victory lies in unity, not division. Seek the truth beneath the stars. As cryptic as the message was, it provided a new direction for humanity's efforts. If the Novarians were indeed connected to the creators of the Martian artifact, perhaps the key to defeating them lay in fully understanding that ancient technology. A daring plan was formulated. While the bulk of Earth's forces kept the Novarians engaged in a series of feints and diversionary tactics, a small, elite team would undertake a covert mission deep into Novarian space. Their goal, to infiltrate what intelligence suggested was a major Novarian research facility, hoping to uncover the truth about their connection to the artifact's creators. The team was led by Commander Aisha Okoro, a brilliant tactician and veteran of some of the war's fiercest battles. As their stealth ship slipped past the Novarian defenses, Aisha couldn't help but feel the weight of their mission. The fate of humanity could well rest on what they discovered. After a harrowing journey, the team managed to infiltrate the Novarian facility. What they found inside defied all expectations. The facility was not just a research center, but a vast archive of knowledge, spanning millennia of galactic history. As they delved deeper into the archive, a startling truth began to emerge. The Novarians were not the descendants of the artifact's creators at all. They were a species that had discovered similar artifacts and used them to rapidly advance their technology, much as humanity had done. But unlike humans, the Novarians had become obsessed with hoarding this knowledge, seeing themselves as the rightful inheritors of the galaxy. The true creators of the artifacts, it seemed, were long gone, an ancient race that had seeded the galaxy with their knowledge before disappearing. And the Novarians, in their zealous pursuit of this legacy, had twisted the creators' intentions, using the technology for conquest rather than enlightenment. This revelation changed everything. It meant that humanity and the Novarians were more alike than either had realized, both uplifted by the same ancient legacy, both struggling to find their place in a vast and complex galaxy. As Commander Okoro and her team raced to transmit their findings back to Earth, they knew they had stumbled upon something that could alter the course of the war, and perhaps the future of both species. But with Novarian forces closing in, the question remained, could they get this crucial information back to humanity in time? And if they did, how would it change the cosmic struggle that had engulfed them all? The fate of two species, and perhaps the galaxy itself, hung in the balance as Okoro made her desperate bid for escape, carrying with her the truth that could reshape the stars. Commander Aisha Okoro's heart raced as her ship hurtled through space, pushing its stealth systems to the limit. Behind her, the Novarian facility grew smaller, its alarms no doubt blaring as the enemy realized their security had been breached. But it wasn't the pursuing Novarian ships that concerned her most. It was the precious data stored in her ship's computers, data that could change the course of the war. "Status report," she barked, her eyes fixed on the swirling vortex of the wormhole that would take them back to human space. "Shields at 60%, engines redlining," her pilot responded, voice tense with concentration. "We'll make it to the wormhole, but it's going to be close." As they approached the event horizon, a barrage of Novarian weapons fire lit up space around them. The ship shuddered under the assault, but held together long enough to slip into the wormhole's embrace. Moments later, they emerged in human-controlled space, immediately broadcasting on all frequencies. "This is Commander Okoro. Mission successful. We have critical information. Repeat, we have critical information." The news of Okoro's successful mission spread like wildfire through the human ranks. As the data was analyzed and the full implications of their discovery became clear, a sense of hope began to emerge for the first time since the war began. Dr. Elena Reyes, working tirelessly despite her advanced age, led the team tasked with interpreting the information from the Novarian archive. "It's astounding," she explained to the assembled military and political leaders. "The Novarians are not our predestined enemies. They're as new to this galactic stage as we are, and just as frightened." The revelation that both humanity and the Novarians were beneficiaries of the same ancient legacy sparked intense debate. Some saw it as an opportunity for peace, a chance to find common ground with their adversaries. Others feared it would change nothing, that the Novarians' aggressive expansion would continue regardless of their shared heritage. In the end, it was decided that humanity would make one last, desperate attempt at diplomacy, but they would do so from a position of strength. Admiral Zhang Wei, his hair now gray, but his resolve as strong as ever, outlined the plan. "We'll launch a multi-pronged offensive," he explained, gesturing to a holographic map of contested space. "Not to destroy the Novarians, but to demonstrate that we can hold our own. And in the midst of this, we'll transmit our findings to them on all frequencies. We'll make them see that we know the truth." The plan was risky. It would require every ship, every soldier, every resource humanity could muster. But it was a risk they had to take. As the human fleets mobilized, a sense of unity swept through the colonies and settlements of Earth's expanding sphere of influence. Old rivalries were set aside, petty disputes forgotten. Humanity faced its greatest challenge not as divided nations or competing corporations, but as a single species with a shared destiny. The battle that followed would later be known as the Galactic Concordance. Human ships clashed with Novarian forces across dozens of star systems. The conflict was fierce, with losses on both sides, but the humans fought with a determination born of desperation and hope. In the midst of the chaos, Dr. Reyes and her team worked feverishly to broadcast their message to the Novarians. Using the knowledge gleaned from the archive, they crafted a transmission that they hoped would cut through the fog of war and reach the hearts and minds of their adversaries. Hours turned into days as the battle raged on. Human forces, though outnumbered, managed to hold their ground, their tactics and technology having evolved rapidly over the course of the war. But victory wasn't their goal, understanding was. It was on the 5th day of fighting that the tide began to turn. A Novarian flagship, in the midst of a heated exchange with a human battle group, suddenly ceased fire. Moments later, other Novarian ships followed suit. For a tense hour, the battlefield fell silent. Then, a transmission came through on all frequencies, in a mixture of human and Novarian language. "We have received your message. We understand. Let us talk." The ceasefire that followed was tense, filled with mistrust on both sides. But as representatives from Earth and Novaria met on a neutral space station, the shared truth of their situations became impossible to ignore. Both species had been uplifted by the legacy of the ancient progenitors. Both had struggled with the immense responsibility that came with such advanced technology, and both, in their fear and ambition, had seen the other as a threat to be eliminated. As the diplomats worked tirelessly to forge a lasting peace, scientists from both species began to collaborate, sharing their knowledge and insights into the artifacts that had shaped their destinies. The combined intellect of two civilizations, working in harmony, began to unlock secrets that neither could have discovered alone. It was during one of these joint research sessions that Dr. Elena Reyes, now well into her 80s, made a discovery that would once again reshape humanity's understanding of the cosmos. "The progenitors," she announced, her voice quivering with excitement, "they're not gone. They're out there, waiting for us." The evidence was hidden deep within the code of the artifacts, a message, an invitation. The progenitors had not vanished, but had rather ascended to a higher plane of existence, and they had left behind their technology as a test, a way of preparing younger species for the ultimate journey. As news of this discovery spread, a new sense of purpose filled both human and Novarian society. The peace that had been born of necessity and shared understanding now blossomed into a true alliance. Together, they would unravel the mysteries left behind by the progenitors. Together, they would prepare for an ascension beyond their wildest dreams. The war that had threatened to tear apart the galaxy had instead forged a bond between two young, ambitious species. As human and Novarian ships began joint expeditions into uncharted space, there was a sense that this was only the beginning of a grand cosmic adventure. Dr. Elena Reyes, watching a mixed crew of humans and Novarians prepare for humanity's first joint extragalactic expedition, felt a profound sense of satisfaction. From a simple discovery in the Martian dust to the brink of cosmic transcendence, it had been an incredible journey. As the ship's engines flared to life, Elena closed her eyes, imagining the wonders that lay ahead. The resistance against fear, against misunderstanding, against the darkness of space itself, had led to humanity's finest hour. And now, hand in hand with former enemies, the joint human-Novarian expedition ship, aptly named Unity, glided silently through the void between galaxies. Its crew, a mixture of both species, worked in harmony, their former enmity now a distant memory. At the heart of the ship's command center stood Dr. Elena Reyes, her aged frame supported by an exosuit, her eyes sharp as ever as they scanned the readouts before her. "We're approaching the coordinates," announced Captain Zara Chen, her voice tinged with excitement and apprehension. Elena nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. The message hidden within the progenitor's artifacts had led them here, to the very edge of known space. What they would find, no one could say for certain. As the Unity dropped out of faster-than-light travel, a collective gasp echoed through the bridge. Before them stretched a sight beyond imagination, a massive structure, easily the size of a small moon, floating in the emptiness between galaxies. Its surface shimmered with an otherworldly energy, patterns of light dancing across its form in mesmerizing sequences. It's beautiful," whispered Kralax, the Novarian chief scientist, his multiple eyes wide with wonder. As the Unity cautiously approached the structure, its sensors came alive with data. The energy readings were off the charts, suggesting a power source beyond anything either humans or Novarians had ever encountered. "We're receiving a transmission," reported the communications officer, her voice trembling slightly. "It's in both our languages." A moment later, a voice filled the bridge, not sound, but pure thought, understood perfectly by every mind present. "Welcome, children of the stars. You have done well to come this far." The message continued, explaining that this structure was a gateway, a bridge to the higher plane of existence that the progenitors had ascended to eons ago. They had left behind their technology, their knowledge, as a test and a gift. Only species that could overcome their fears and differences, that could unite in the face of adversity, would be able to find this place and take the next step in cosmic evolution. "You stand now at a crossroads," the voice continued. "You may choose to return to your galaxies, to continue your existence as you have known it. Or you may step through the gateway, leaving behind your physical forms to join us in a realm of pure energy and thought. The choice is yours." The crew of the Unity fell into stunned silence, the magnitude of the decision before them almost too much to comprehend. It was Elena who finally broke the quiet, her voice filled with the wisdom of her years. "All my life," she began, "I've dreamed of this moment. Not this exact scenario, of course, but the idea that there was something more out there, something greater than ourselves. We've come so far, learned so much. But there's still so much more to discover." She turned to face the mixed crew, her eyes shining with determination. "I say we take this step. Not all of us. Someone needs to return, to tell our people what we found. But for those willing, let's embrace this new frontier." Earned allies, they were ready to take their next giant leap into the unknown. The stars beckoned, and united, they would answer the call. A murmur of agreement rippled through the bridge. In the end, it was decided that a small team, a mix of humans and Novarians, would step through the gateway. The rest would return home, carrying news of their monumental discovery. As preparations were made, Elena found herself standing before the gateway, its energy making her skin tingle. Beside her stood Kralax, the Novarian scientist who had become a close friend and colleague over their journey. "Are you ready for this, Elena?" Kralax asked, a mix of excitement and nervousness in his voice. Elena smiled, thinking back on her long life, from that first discovery on Mars to this moment on the edge of transcendence. "I've been ready my whole life, my friend." With a final look back at the Unity and the crew members staying behind, Elena, Kralax, and a handful of others stepped forward into the shimmering energy of the gateway. There was a moment of intense sensation, not pain, but a feeling of being unmade and remade in the span of a heartbeat. And then enlightenment. In an instant, Elena felt her consciousness expand beyond the confines of her physical form. She was aware of everything, the vast expanse of the universe, the intricate dance of subatomic particles, the ebb and flow of cosmic energy. And she was not alone. She could sense the presence of the others who had stepped through with her, and beyond them, the vast collective consciousness of the progenitors. Knowledge flowed into her like a torrent, the secrets of the universe laid bare. The true nature of space and time, the underlying fabric of reality, the interconnectedness of all things, it was all there, waiting to be understood. But more than the knowledge, there was a sense of purpose, The progenitors had not merely ascended to this state for their own sake. They were guardians, caretakers of the cosmic order. And now Elena and the others were joining their ranks. As her awareness stretched across the cosmos, Elena felt a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. This was what she had been searching for all along, not just knowledge, but understanding. Not just existence, but purpose. Back on the Unity, the remaining crew watched in awe as their comrades seemed to dissolve into pure energy, merging with the gateway structure. For a moment, the entire construct pulsed with blinding light. Then, slowly, it began to fade, shrinking in on itself until it vanished entirely. Captain Chen, tears in her eyes, turned to her crew. "Set a course for home," she said softly. "We have quite a story to tell." As the Unity began its long journey back, carrying news that would forever change two civilizations, the newly ascended beings that had once been Elena, Kralax, and the others turned their vast awareness to the cosmos at large. There were other young species out there, taking their first tentative steps into the galactic community. They would need guidance, protection, and eventually, the chance to join the cosmic collective. In the vast tapestry of space and time, a new thread had been woven, one of unity, discovery, and transcendence. The journey that had begun with a simple artifact in the Martian dust had led to the very pinnacle of cosmic evolution. And yet, in many ways, it was still just the beginning. For Elena, now a being of pure energy and thought, eternity stretched out before her, filled with endless possibilities. The ultimate frontier had been crossed, and the greatest adventure of all was just beginning.